Hello guys and welcome back to another video. Recently I picked up a box of old laptops from a local recycler called Electronic Recycling Australia. They actually assist and provide people with disabilities ongoing employment and are one of South Australia's leading e-waste recyclers, so let's open up the box and see what we got. Here is the box full of old laptops from Electronic Recycling Australia. But wait, there's more. A viewer from Victoria also sent over some laptops from the e-waste business he works at. I offered to pay for the postage as it was going to be a heavy and of course large box, one that I'm hoping hasn't been dropped too much on its way to me. This Toshiba satellite is still mounted to the dock and we'll see whether it and the other laptops are still functional. I'm yet to turn these laptops on, but I must say most of them look pretty clean and are from the mid-2000s Windows XP to Windows Vista era. And here they are. Once again, big thanks to Electronic Recycling Australia for providing them. While most of them look undamaged, this tiny compact Evo has been smashed. But the most eye-catching one is definitely the Sony Vaio with the red lid. I can't wait to see if it still has the SSD mentioned on the palm rest. The Lenovo Thinkpad could definitely make for an interesting video in the future as well. So let's open up the box and see what Sam sent over. The duct tape has definitely been holding the box closed quite securely, and inside is yet another layer that my knife made short work of. The viewer that sent these really put a lot of effort into packaging up the devices. I appreciate that. The first thing isn't a laptop. It appears to be an old Amstrad computer from the 80s. Next up is what feels like an IBM Thinkpad. The boxy squared off corners are a dead giveaway. In the next compartment is what feels to be yet another Thinkpad. Oh boy, what is this thing? This must be the Toshiba satellite laptop from the 80s Sam had mentioned he was sending over. It's massive and honestly so heavy as well. And last of all is another small laptop. I'm not sure what this one is. This feels just like Christmas. I'm not very familiar with Amstrad computers, but this 128K CPC model will definitely need some work and I'll have to find some accessories if I was to try and use it. It is clearly in need of a thorough cleaning and honestly, I'd like to hold off powering it on until I've checked inside. Originally releasing in 1985 means this unit is around 37 years old, including a built-in 3.5-inch floppy drive. In fact, I don't even have a power supply, so we'll have to see what I can do once I find one. I just realized how yellowed those keys are as well. The next laptop is an IBM Thinkpad R31 with a Pentium 3 processor. It's quite grimy, but I have high hopes for this working since they are pretty bulletproof. Something about the colored IBM logo is just so nostalgic to me. The little red pointer nub is also a great alternative to a trackpad in my opinion. So let's plug it in and see if the first laptop works. It's got Windows XP installed, but it seems it wasn't shut down properly the last time it was used. However, for whatever reason, it appears to fail. Either way, the laptop itself works and should make for an interesting video in the future. Next up is a Lenovo Thinkpad, a few years newer than the last one. This is the R61, a widescreen Intel Core 2 Duo powered machine. It's quite clean, with next to no wear, which is always good to see. When plugged into the included adapter, everything seemed great. But when it came to reading the hard disk, it displayed the message "Active Partition Not Found," meaning the drive is either missing or wiped. And it turns out the original 120GB hard drive is present, so it just needs an operating system. I haven't owned a laptop quite like this before. It's quite chunky and manufactured by Compaq. This is the Contura 320 with a 20MHz 386SL processor. I don't currently have a compatible charger, but this will definitely make for an interesting video in the future. One thing to note is that the rubber on the base has started to melt, a common problem among old electronics. I'm really excited to test this one out when the new charger arrives sometime soon. And the last laptop sent by Sam is this brick, the Toshiba T3200sx. And this is truly in need of a restoration. There's dirt and small stones falling out of the ports. This has definitely seen better days and I don't have high hopes for its functionality. Rust is quite prevalent around the ports. It'll be interesting to see what's inside in a future video. But sadly, the built-in screen has been shattered. The bubble wrap is likely to keep it from breaking apart further. And I did notice there appears to be a CGA video card. If I can't find a replacement display panel, perhaps there is hope for at least testing it. Clearly this has some interesting history to it, if the craft label is anything to go by. 1989 was a different time for laptops, or should I say luggables. Yes, this even has a carry handle. And now we'll take a look at some of the laptops I received from Electronic Recycling Australia. First of all is this Ibook G4 from either 2004 or 2005. It does indeed turn on, and after a while loads into macOS 10.3. It's the 1.33 GHz model with a total of 1.25 GB of RAM. The keys have definitely yellowed, and I'm sure I can think of a reason to make a video about it this year. The battery also seems to be charging, which is surprising. Here we've got the newest laptop in the lot, an Acer Aspire 5 featuring a 7th gen i5 processor. Another device I don't have a compatible charger for yet, but one is on the way. The sticker on the palm rest says it's ultra thin, and indeed it is. It could do with a cleaning, and I can't wait to test this when a new power supply arrives. It also came from a time where having a 1080p display was a major selling point. How times have changed. Next up is a business-orientated HP laptop. For about 5 years, their products basically looked the same, hence why I thought this was newer than a Windows XP era computer. I do love that there is a business card slot on the base for the owner to put information. I found a compatible power adapter and thankfully it sprung into life, booting into Windows XP. It was, however, password locked, so I'll have to wipe the hard disk in the future. Here's yet another IBM Thinkpad laptop, an R52. Yes, it seems as if plenty of these IBM laptops are still being thrown out. In fact, this is one of the last ThinkPads to feature the IBM branding, as IBM sold their computer division to Lenovo, who continued to manufacture ThinkPads. After an inviting IBM splash screen, it booted into Windows XP, like most laptops in this video thus far. The original owner chose the silver theme and tulips background, one that shipped with Windows XP. This laptop has 1 GB of memory. In the optical drive, there was even a StarCraft game expansion. I don't think I've ever played this game before though. Up next is another unassuming business-orientated laptop, a Toshiba Techra. These are definitely the kinds of laptops that I believe won't become collectible. They're just so bland and have no real historical importance. Either way, this one does appear to start up and have Windows 7 installed. And it wouldn't be an Australian laptop if a Koala desktop picture wasn't present. It's got 2 GB of RAM and a 2.4 GHz Core 2 Duo processor. Hopefully I can think of an interesting video to make about such a basic business notebook. The Toshiba Techra 8000 is a pretty interesting laptop though, not only because it has a dock, but because it's an excellent example of a Pentium 2 laptop from 1998. The dock does also provide lots of expansion possibilities, and the notebook can be released as shown here. So let's flick the hidden power switch and see if it's a runner. In touch with tomorrow was Toshiba's slogan at the time. It seems to want a password though, with no option to put it in, and after several attempts the system simply shuts itself off. And I didn't have high hopes for this Compact Evo, the tiny Pentium 3 notebook from the early 2000s. The keyboard appeared to be smashed in with a hammer, leaving 2 of the keycaps missing. I thought I would power it up out of interest, and of course the screen has clearly been smashed as well, but was showing signs of life. I wonder if it actually has a working hard disk, and maybe even Windows XP. So I plugged in a VGA monitor and soon found out. It displayed an image and began loading into Windows XP. The machine was password locked, but surprisingly every key appeared to be functional. If I can find spare parts, maybe I'll restore this in the future. Last of all, here's the Sony Vaio with its eye-catching bright red casing. It also features as many stickers as humanly possible on the palm rest that could do with a much needed cleaning. Turns out it works, but is missing the SSD, but should make for a fun restoration in the near future. While these laptops are definitely quite outdated, you'd be surprised what adding an SSD and some extra RAM can do to make them quite usable today. And in the future, I might make some individual videos restoring some of these laptops as well. Either way, I hope you've enjoyed, and I've got more videos coming up really soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you then.